show financial responsibility like we are?
I don't know that either. In order to get a temporary license?
Yeah. I mean, if they're gonna be driving a car, they have an accident.
No, absolutely there should be. But you know what, I believe, I'm not positive on this, but I believe that actually the employer is responsible for providing the proof of financial responsibility for people who are under this visa program. Yeah, sure, absolutely I will.
Thank
Yeah, I'll get a write-up on that actually, for you folks who have the knowledge of that.
My question concerning driver's licenses, would these people be required to speak, read, and write the English language in order to obtain that license on a temporary
I didn't
matter?
answer that, no.
Probably not. I don't know, but I suspect not. I mean, these people are from Mexico.
How can they get a license?
Because they demonstrated in Mexico the ability to and get a license there and operate a motor vehicle in a safe manner.
Well, I don't agree with that, but that's usually it is.
I mean, if they're not required to know the English language, how are they gonna read the signs, stop signs and?
Or take the test,
I don't know. But what do you want to do? You want to deprive the nursery people of their ability to get their crops out and the ability to ride the horse?
I don't.
Well, I want to find out to make it a living, but we got to be, responsible ourselves.
Sure. That'll be part of the whole, I'll get a write-up to you guys in terms of what exactly that these guys have to, and gals have to do in order to get that temporary driver's license. But again, here we face one of those situations where you're trying to strike a balance, okay? The nurse, right or wrong, despite 8% unemployment, the nurserymen certify that they are unable to find people who are willing to do the work that these people come up from Mexico to do for them. And without those people, the nurseries in Lake County would die. So you balance that interest against the interest in A, having unemployed people on the public dole, B, they can't speak King's English, but they know an octagon that's red with white letters in the middle means stop. I don't know what they go through, but that'll be part of the information I'll provide. Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Having been on unemployment, I know that if you work, that reduces your unemployment.
Sure.
Maybe you could put a stipulation in there that if these unemployed workers that are collecting unemployment would take these jobs, it would not affect their unemployment status. You might get more people in Lake County taking the job. Because it's not going to affect what, it ends up, it's not worth it for them to take a $5 and $8 an hour job when it's going to take away too much of their unemployment. Or if you say, well, we'll keep giving you the unemployment, but you need to work also to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're getting more money by working, even if it is a bad business job. It might be an incentive to try real hard to get it done.
Very well put. That's a good idea.
Senator, is there any effort to track the types of violations from the holders of these temporary licenses?
I don't know. You mean traffic violations?
Traffic violations.
Over the course of time?
Right, to know if you should have to take a written test.
Why don't you're now, I'll just play the other side for you. Now you're engaged in racial profile. I think track violation is by the nationality and race of the violation. I'm just kidding. But that's what I'll hear, okay? But I'll give a comprehensive report on how this temporary driver's license program works and get that information to you, including that little piece of information. I suspect that that this is not tracked outside of the context of the general Bureau of Motor Vehicle statistics.
Are we making a mountain of a molehill? I mean, how many people are we talking about? Are we talking about a million people from across the board from Mexico to work in these fields?
No.
We're talking about 2,000 who are here for 90 days.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Hundreds,
small, right?
hundreds in Lake County.
So how many of us have gone to foreign countries and have driven into foreign countries on the wrong side of the road or using signs we don't understand? I know I have, and I'm still here. Just because these people happen to be from Mexico doesn't mean they can't come up here and drive. But we're making a lot of molehill. This is not an issue.
Yeah, I think if you give us, what the requirements are,
Be happy to do that. Be happy to do that.
Anyone else in the public have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Tina Miller Holmes. I live on Gooding Court. I wanted to ask you, since you know our current mayor, if he has talked with you, or if the council has talked with you at length about how we can bring more awareness to our village. Our village is a very special and unique village. I've lived here most of my life. And how can you help us bring more awareness and goodness to our village? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And in point of fact, yes, I have had that conversation, started that conversation with your mayor. I've also had that conversation, and I'm going to forget their name because it was going back to early November. But one of the gentlemen from Middlefield Cheese and I had a conversation in the context of an agricultural summit of sorts that was being held in Chesterland right after I was first appointed about this very topic. And how can I be of help to you? I'll tell you how I can be of help. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. You folks know best what Middlefield has to offer. You know what best is the best thing to promote and the things you'd like to see happen here. Send me a list. Let's sit down and discuss what that list is. Between us, I can be a facilitator, perhaps, or at least I can suggest you're going down the wrong path here because that's not the proper subject of legislation, and we can dialogue it, and between us, come up with a list of best practices, and if there's legislation that needs to be enacted in order to do it, that's where I come in. But the last thing you want is for me to be suggesting or telling you folks how can we promote Middlefield?
I'm not saying
I
that,
understand.
sir. I'm not saying that.
But
I was
it's
just
dialogue.
asking if you have time to help bring awareness to our wonderful community.
Of course I do. And that's part of what I do, and I'm happy to do it. And as I said, we began that dialogue earlier this fall with the mayor, and I'm still forgetting the gentleman's name.
Tony Rockenbuehler. John Rockenbuehler?
It was a long name.
He is Middlefield Cheese, so if you talk to Middlefield Cheese, he is.
Well, anyways, it's a dialogue that has commenced, and I'm eager for it to continue on, and I think it's a perfectly appropriate thing for the state senator to be doing.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to know your feelings about our Attorney General yesterday circulating, he started circulating petitions about what to state. What is that going to do for us in our employment situation in the state of Ohio?
Well, the right to work that they're talking about, banning or barring union agreements that require somebody to join a union to go to work at a particular company. Okay? Sounds good to me in a sense because it frees up labor to basically pursue their own interests however they want without the umbrella of labor union. I'll say it again. Philosophically, it sounds like it's a conservative point of view, but there are those who would suggest to you it's not really conservative at all, because companies and labor unions should be, in the minds of many, free to negotiate whatever terms they want. If the unions are able to get a contract out of an employer that says only union workers work here, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way market forces work, and that's the way contract negotiations go, and that's the freedom of any American to negotiate whatever contract that they want. So how would it affect our employment situation? I think the perception is that it would make Ohio a more attractive place for businesses to come and establish themselves, as opposed to directly affecting the level of employment or unemployment. If more businesses come here and are attracted to come here because it's a right-to-work state, it's perceived that would create more employment and create more jobs, and more people would stay here to work instead of going to North Carolina or someplace else. If I'm making myself clear, which I'm probably not, I'm saying these are the perceptions. These are the beliefs of the people who are in favor of a right to work state. What would I say in response to them? I'd say, show me. Show me where it's happened, and don't tell me, fairy tales about, well, in Washington State or in this state or that state, it's worked wonders. Show me a direct causal relationship and show me how it's had a positive effect on the economy of a particular state that has it, and then I'm willing to listen to it.
Knowing that 6 out of the top 10 unemployment rates in this country are right to work states, I would just like to hear one success story.
Yeah, me too. See, and I agree with you 100%. I want to hear a fact, some facts that are the basis upon which legislation should be enacted or acted upon is on the basis of facts and not pie in the sky and certainly not on the basis of emotion. So I agree with you 100%. Show me the facts.
Four states traditionally have lower wages, lower benefit packages, and it frightens me to think about this because all of our gifted students in the state of Ohio, all of our finest kids, might have to go to other states to get the money that they deserve to make because they are gifted students and they are brilliant. They're going to have to relocate and move out of the state of Ohio. I'm not in agreement at all with that happening, and I think it's a reality. I really do.
If I may, Your Honor, take just a few minutes. Okay? I hear you. Your voice is ringing in my ears. Twice. And it's a little bit of a different angle, okay? So I want you to appreciate that there's two sides to every story. Twice, between 2006 and 2010, it happened to me and my family, okay? My daughter graduated from college in Ohio, got a master's degree in elementary education in Ohio, married a young fellow from Mount Vernon, Ohio in 2006. All they wanted to do was to live, work, and raise a family in the state of Ohio. She was a master's degree in elementary education. She couldn't find a job in Ohio, in large respects because union wage for a degreed elementary school teacher in Ohio was too expensive. What the union contracts required and the way the state of Ohio compensated teachers made it too expensive for most school districts to employ someone with her credentials. Now that's the union side. I hear what you're saying, but there's another side to it too. And through her graduate program, she was contacted by school districts from, of all places, North Carolina. They called her up, invited her to North Carolina. In a 2-day trip, she has 3 offers of employment at school districts in North Carolina. All right? Young people have to eat, down they go. Leave Ohio if they want to. A year later, my son-in-law qualifies to go to law school. He got into a law school in North Carolina, Elon University, and he got in at Capital University in Ohio, Columbus. They so wanted to be in Ohio, they dropped everything they had developed down there in North Carolina, moved back to Columbus. My daughter still, no prospects education-wise. She goes to work in retail to put her husband through law school, which they did. 2010, my son-in-law did very well in law school, captain of the National Moot Court team, honored at graduation, but when his class of 120 graduated, 2 of them had jobs. 2 of them. And the legal jobs were not available in Ohio. Now that's not a union thing or a non-union thing. That's just opportunity, economic opportunity in Ohio. He finally found a job working as a lawyer for a company. But that company is Menards. And the condition of the employment was that they had to move to where Menards was headquartered, which is, anybody? Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So in 2010, people have to eat, they pick up, and they go to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. All right? Now, you talk about brain drain. You've all heard that term, brain drain. Young people, smart people moving out of state for better opportunities. You know what I call it? I
call it family drain. And I don't care whether it's caused by lack of opportunity, unions, or, right to work states. Whatever causes it has gotta stop. And I'm very hopeful that someday we're gonna bring them back to Ohio where they wanna be. Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the collection of, taxes and sending it all down to Columbus, does anybody realize that when you collect them here in Middlefield or in any other community, that it's put into your local bank, and it sits there and helps the community? Otherwise, it's gonna go down to Columbus, and then all of a sudden, you're gonna have a favorite bank in Columbus controlling all that money, and they sit on it for 3 to 6 months until they decide they're gonna send it back here.
Absolutely valid point. It can have I can see where it could have a crippling effect on not just administrative issues, but on local economies.